Hello, I'm your. Oh, come on. Right. Hello, I'm your friendly neighborhood Luis Perez. Uh, and after the release of The Amazing Spider-Man 2, I can honestly say that, well, it's not getting a good response, really. So far, it's getting a 53% on Rotten Tomatoes. Wow. Just wow. You have to be pretty bad to get a lower score than Spider-Man 3. That's just unheard of. Well, I do personally think Spider-Man 3 is a terrible movie. Well, not terrible, just a worse movie than The Amazing Spider-Man 2. I can still think that some of these arguments are kind of true. That's an argument for another day. Maybe when I challenge Jason to a competition of which of that the older Mark Webb series are better, no, that the older Sam Raimi films are better than the Mark Webb series. That'll just be childish and cliche. Even though Sam Raimi films are better, they're just better. Anyway, but I'm bringing up this argument because this brings up this brings up some concerns for The Amazing Spider-Man 3. Now, I do have hope that this film will do good. Hopefully, it's going to be great. I can't wait to see it a couple of years from now. But after the sort of failure that was The Amazing Spider-Man 2, will The Amazing Spider-Man 3 suck? I don't know. Like, I really do not. I can see a director doing a better thing than their previous films. I see many examples of this. But I don't know, some of the events that they established in this second film does lead up to some very weird and probably think they'll keep it to a downgrade. One of the reasons, and I'm not doing this because I'm a comic fan, not close at all. But I have to be. Now, this is gonna lead to some major spoilers, so yeah, you know the routine. Spoilers, leave. But I don't know, like some of the things that they establish in these films. For one is Electro. Now, I'm pretty sure Electro survived. Jamie Foxx himself said that you can never kill electricity. But I don't know, at the end of this film, we see Electro go boop, and the last thing we see is this little headpiece on the ground, and it shows no electrical signs. So yeah, that's bringing out some mixed symbols here. Another thing is Felicia Hardy, which she's one of my complaints with the films. Like, like Felicia Hardy is established to be Harry's sort of love interest, but not really because they never share a single moment on screen, except in the board meeting and possibly when she tells him about the secret project, which I have no idea why she told him, and she's risking her job telling him this. But, but, I don't think that's going to be the main issue that a lot of people are going to be bringing up to this film. I think one of the major issues would be that they established a lot of villains for the Sinister Six. There are like the Amazing Spider-Man 3 is probably going to have the Sinister Six, if not in their own film. That's going to be established the Sinister Six. But I don't know. Like that's a lot of villains to be in one film, and considering some other examples, yeah, we can't even handle 3 villains. If we can't handle 3 villains, how are we gonna handle 6? 6. Hopefully, all the villains will get their fair share of screen time and have their fair share of development. Hopefully. I think another thing that might make the film struggle a bit will be Mary Jane. Now, at the end of this film, we obviously see Spider-Man grieve over the death of Gwen Stacy, but he eventually gets over it and fights the Rhino. Spoilers. But then that brings the argument. If they decide to introduce Mary Jane, which they eventually will, how are they going to do that connection? Because Peter's obviously not going to start dating after the death of his love of Gwen. Sure, it's been a couple of years, but still a pretty big event, and it's going to take some very good reasons to have Mary Jane take over. So that might bring up some issues about Mary Jane. Like, because if not, we're gonna have the same relationship from the original Spider-Man movies, which even I have to admit was pretty bad in the original films, especially the third one. But oh, I really don't see how this film could get any worse. Like, I see potential for the Amazing Spider-Man 3. I honestly do. But there are a lot of things that are struggling. One thing is that at the very end of the film, when Harry Osborn is sent to Ravencroft, we see the man in the shadow, which is revealed to be the gentleman, Mr. Fierce. I think that's his name. And he says, "Oh, you've been looking better, and I got the team for you. How many members do you want?" And then Harry says, "Let's keep it small." And then he obviously brings up Alexei Shijovich. Jeez, I can never pronounce Russian. Anyway, and that's honestly implicates that the Harry Osborn forms the Sinister Six. No, I don't have any problems with Harry forming the Sinister Six, but I kind of have it. That kind of brings up the question: if Harry's gonna form the Sinister Six, why have the gentleman there? Why have him there? Sure, he might work with Harry Osborn. I'm sure they're gonna somehow connect it to Peter's parents again, which I swear by the fourth movie they still bring up the parents. I'll have no faith for this franchise because it's just reusing the same bloody plot. Whew. And considering that the last one had a mess of a plot because they threw so many stuff in, like they had 3 villains, and those 3 villains caused so many clauses and so many things they added to this film to make it more grand. This is the third film. The Sinister Six are gonna be in the third film. That's a lot of villains. That's the big point that can make Spider-Man 3 sound, because the stories will be so cluttered by so many villains, and they'll have to establish all their origins, and then it'll just be like, it'll be a mess of a plot. If we can't even handle 3 villains, how are we gonna handle a whole 6 members? Like, unless they devote 2 films to establish their origin. Oh wait, they're having a Sinister Six film. Oh dang it! I forgot about that. Okay, maybe they'll establish their origin. No, wait a minute. I kind of forgot because Mark Webb recently said that the team in the new Sinister Six film will not be the same in the Spider-Man 3 film. So even then, they're gonna have new members in the third film. So that means that they're gonna have to establish their origin. So I don't know. Just with the fact that the Sinister Six, well, a good idea to introduce more Spider-Man villains, just feels like it's just gonna be a very cluttered mess. Unless they want to span it for 3 hours, which is insane. I honestly can't see how they're gonna fit all those villains into one film. I honestly don't see. I can see some bits, but I don't see how this could work. Aside from the villains, there could be some other things that could be messed up, like the parents, Peter's parents. So far, there seem to be the driving force in this franchise. How can this help? And they keep going back to Peter's parents to it, so they can be like the big plot exposition for the third film, like they seem to be doing in every other Spider-Man film so far. Then it's just gonna be like, oh, I need to find out about this. Okay, look up all your parents. Oh, okay, see. Oh yeah, this solution is gonna help me stop them. I just feel like the whole parents plot in these films are just contrived ways so they can have more exposition to make these things connect to Oscorp. It's practically confirmed at this point that every villain in the Spider-Man franchise, at least in the Mark Webb universe, it comes from Oscorp. Every single villain. Now, let me recap the villains that are going to be for the Sinister Six. Just to let you know, it's gonna go somewhere. Trust me. We have Doc Ock. Okay, I can see how they can create him from Oscorp. The Vulture, okay, I can kind of see that. Rhino, they basically established that. Electro, okay, Electro might not be in the film, he might be in the Sinister Six film, but I don't know. Okay, Green Goblin, let's replace him with Green Goblin. Well, it's gonna be Harry, no doubt, so they already established that. Then we have Mysterio, which I do not see how he can come from Oscorp since he's a stage performer, a bloody actor of special effects. And I don't see how he can connect to Oscorp. And Craven, who is the last person that you would think to come from Oscorp. So I believe that Mark Wood dug himself to a trap when he decided that every villain should come from Oscorp. He basically dug himself a trap. Which, I don't know, I'm sure the Sinister Six are gonna be great villains. And I'm sure the Amazing Spider-Man 3 is going to be good. And aside from some other reasons why the third film might not be so good, this is just gonna be all the ones I'm gonna say for right now. So, while I do have hope for the third film, with all the arguments I brought up so far, and maybe some of these don't make any sense to you, these just bring us up to one final answer. Will the Amazing Spider-Man 3 suck? That's up to you to say. If you have an answer to that, comment down below. If you like this video, like, comment, subscribe. Really, I really need subscribers at this point. Oh, aside from that, I'm your friendly neighborhood Luis Perez, and I'll see you next time.